After 3 years in a coma, Jinwoo wakes to find the game he mastered for a decade has become reality, leaving millions searching for the legendary god Jinwoo, the one who holds the key to conquering the tower. But that legend is actually him. While the world hunts for his identity, Jinwoo quietly works to provide for his family. Long before the world changed, Jinwoo was the #1 player in Summoner's Battle, a notoriously difficult dying game, where he set incredible records and cleared floor 99. He was a monster among players, a legend in the making. Yet, in real life, he was just a struggling man with no career or prospects after a decade spent gaming. Even his parents' silence speaks volumes. But at 24, Jinwoo decides it's finally time to get his act together and give his legendary journey the worthy end it deserves. He triggers his ultimate skill, reaching for one last victory before leaving it all behind. The white whale is summoned, turning the battlefield into a blinding spectacle of light and power as viewers watch in awe. Jinwoo repels a sudden attack with ease, but his confidence turns to anger when a massive explosion rocks the arena. In a flash of devastating light, his enemy is sliced to pieces, leaving the battlefield in silence. But the victory is short-lived. As Jinwoo turns, a massive monster looms behind him. The beast unleashes a fiery blast, but Jinwoo raises his hand to summon a blue dragon, evaporating the flames. And the battle begins anew. The shockwave of the battle erupts, scattering fragments in every direction as the chaos settles. In the middle of the street, Jinwoo breaks into wild laughter, screaming that he has finally done it. Overjoyed by his success, he feels he has finally cleared the 100th floor and can say goodbye to this game forever. But the celebration is cut short when everyone stops in their tracks, staring at the sky. Jinwoo stares up in confusion at a massive game screen hanging in the air, a sight that defies all logic. As bright red flags rain down upon the crowd, people begin picking up the mysterious scrolls, wondering if this is just some promotional stunt. But as his friends suggest tearing them open, the world is about to change. The scroll tears before Jinwoo can even shout a warning, and a blinding flash erupts. A system announcement echoes through the air, declaring that a new world is opening, and chaos immediately follows as monsters spill into the streets, slaughtering the unsuspecting crowd. In the frantic madness, Jinwoo is struck by a vehicle and left bleeding on the pavement, wondering if this stupid game is actually destroying reality. Later, while he lies unconscious in a hospital, a news report details the global catastrophe, and authorities scramble to respond to the crisis. Even as society struggles, high-ranking scrolls remain too expensive for most to afford. Jinwoo's mother suddenly notices him stirring and calls for a doctor in a panic as he finally opens his eyes. As his parents gather around him, the horrifying truth begins to sink in. 3 years have passed since his accident. His vision wasn't a dream after all. It was the reality of this new world. A stone golem, a low-rank summon belonging to his father, wanders into the room to assist with chores. Realizing the digital mechanics of his game have physically manifested, Jinwoo learns that even more shocking news is broadcasting everywhere. The world's most powerful players are searching for a legendary player named Jinwoo, the man who could turn the world upside down. The name is unmistakable. It's Rachel, one of the 5 heavenly emperors. The realization sinks in. The world of Summoner's Battle has truly become reality, and a system prompt offering training appears. Despite his mother's pleas for him to rest, he refuses, knowing he must master this new reality immediately. He has nothing left but his drive to understand this world, and though he is starting from zero, he feels incredibly lucky. After leaving the hospital, Jinwoo returns home to find a world transformed by the digital systems of his old game. The entire digital infrastructure has migrated into reality, replacing the old world with dungeons, raids, and treacherous towers. 3 years later, humanity has adapted to life alongside summoned pets, but Jinwoo knows no one can reach his legendary level. Determined to reclaim his glory, he clicks the training button and feels the system initiate its process. Jinwoo retreats to a remote area to avoid any trouble, making sure there isn't a soul around to witness his first move. He holds a low-level summon scroll, praying for something decent, because starting with low-ranking trash would be a death sentence. The rank hierarchy is brutal, with a basic scroll offering only a 1% chance at even a D-rank pet. With trembling hands, he mutters a plea for anything useful and prepares to tear the parchment apart. He's hoping for at least an E rank, a miracle that would change everything. The scroll rips open, and a low-level summon scroll is activated. A blinding beam of light erupts from the scroll, signaling a successful summon for player Jinwoo. The system declares he has summoned an X-rank wind fairy, a rank he never even knew existed in the game. Jinwoo stares in shock at the glowing light, realizing his summons have been given something impossible: speech. He looks closely at the fairy, asking if her name is Ramba, but she denies it, preparing to explain why. Instead, she screams with pure joy, realizing he is the legendary Jinwoo she has long sought. The fairy rushes forward to hug him, leaving Jinwoo feeling both overwhelmed and slightly disgruntled. He's beginning to remember her true potential. As a rank E wind fairy, unlocking her hidden mechanics could make her an unstoppable support. He recalls how they were inseparable back in the game, before she was abruptly deleted from the world. Jinwoo wonders what really happened during that massive bug fix in the first year. The system's data is jarring. Ramba is listed as rank 1, isolated, a victim of the bug that deleted her years ago. Breaking the news, Ramba explains she was dragged into an abyss and locked in a cage, begging to stay together with him forever. Jinwoo reaches out to her, asking who could have caused this, but his question is met with sudden tension. Ramba suddenly freezes, clutching her head as a violent scream escapes her lips. The fairy is in agony, unable to remember anything due to a mysterious seal that is blocking her memories entirely. Once the pain subsides, Ramba delivers a shocking revelation. She isn't the only one suffering. All the other missing pets were isolated too, making them impossible for any other player to summon. They are scattered in different locations, but Ramba estimates there are at least 10 of them. Jinwoo realizes the incredible truth. If those 10 legendary pets were the ones lost in the bug, then every scroll he uses is a chance to rescue them. If he is the only one who can summon them, it means he is the only person on Earth capable of summoning X-rank creatures. He can't help but wonder if this is a hidden reward for his legendary achievements. Does every basic scroll guarantee an EX rank? Jinwoo wonders. Will guarantee an EX rank, but a hairy F-rank gorilla suddenly appears, proving that luck is still the deciding factor. To find his lost legends, he must burn through as many prize scrolls as possible, become even more invincible than in his prime. He will win it all. He turns to Ramba and tells her that from now on, she must stop using his legendary title and call him simply Jinwoo. She is confused, but his reason is grim. The world already knows the name God Jinwoo. If he is seen commanding X-rank creatures, he will become a target for the power-hungry. Suddenly, a massive roar echoes through the forest, sending birds scattering like leaves. Ramba and the gorilla scream in fear as the system announces the transition to the next phase. A basic training dungeon has just generated. Jinwoo has conquered thousands of dungeons, but this new reality feels terrifyingly different. He realizes he needs to pull himself together. Even if his summons do the fighting, he can no longer hide from this truth. Facing the danger, his summons are, he pushes forward toward the entrance, ready to adapt to this distorted new reality. Stepping into the labyrinth, Jinwoo is met with a heavy creeping dread. To survive, he needs a team, but he decides to test his luck with just 2, Ramba and a hairy gorilla. He's mastered these tactics tens of thousands of times, and he already has the perfect plan in his head. He summons them instantly, but before he can plan, the system alerts him to a prowling, gray wolf. The predator is hungry, growling loudly as it prepares to attack. Knowing he must defeat this rank F beast to escape, Jinwoo immediately evaluates the threat and activates a protective shield around himself. The shield glows just like it did in the game, but now Jinwoo knows the stakes are lethal. If it fails, there's no restart button to save him. As the wolf closes in, Jinwoo orders his gorilla to charge, but the beast is far too slow to make an impact. Realizing he needs more power, he calls upon Ramba to bridge the gap. Ramba immediately unleashes an iron swing, a wind pressure spell designed to dramatically increase an ally's attack speed. Magical light surges through the gorilla, sending the empowered creature into a ferocious charge. Ramba truly is at her best. However, the wolf is closing the distance even faster than expected, and Jinwoo realizes the beast is much larger in reality than his old data suggested. If the scale of these monsters has changed, then Tolgo might not be enough to win, but just then, Tolgo makes his move. Tolgo lunges at the snarling wolf, but the beast manages to bite through his skin, drawing blood and sending the gorilla crashing to the ground in pain. As Jinwoo calls out in worry, Ramba swings her staff with everything she has to defend her teammate. But Tolgo isn't finished. He strikes the wolf with a powerful fist, sending the creature flying through the air. Ramba directs her magic toward him, boosting his strength as he rains down heavy blows upon the wounded beast. Jinwoo and Ramba watch in stunned silence as Tolgo completely overwhelms his opponent. With the battle won, Tolgo slams his fists against his chest in victory, while Ramba cheers. Relieved, Jinwoo accepts his reward, a low-level Power 2 rune. Meanwhile, back in the city, his sister Jin-Ah celebrates a successful day of collecting runes. Since her brother's accident, Jin-Ah has worked hard as a rune collector to keep their family afloat in these dire times. She even managed to find a rare mid-rank summon scroll, securing her a C-rank shadow elf to help her income. Suddenly, her phone rings. It's Jinwoo calling to let her know he has finally been discharged from the hospital. When she hears he's been talking about her work, Jin-Ah erupts in a frantic, confused scream over the line. Then he speaks. Jin-Ah wonders if her brother knows where to find a synthesis center to manage his new summons, to support summoned pets, player zones were established as hubs for dungeons and specialized centers. These zones provide everything from enhancement to synthesis, all located right near the towers. As they meet, Jin Ah asks if he's aware that the towers in Jamsil and Hindi have become challenge towers. Though Jinwoo's mind is on his own progress, he knows he needs help to master this new system, and he's prepared to pay her for the service. In Korea, however, the player zones are limited to those 2 specific locations, which means he has to head there. While it makes sense to place centers near the towers, Jin Ah begins to wonder about the quality of his new companions. She asks if they're just lowly F or E ranks. Jinwoo's response is vague, but he's eyeing a future that might be even greater than his sister's wild dreams. She mocks him, saying most people only dream of being geniuses like Rachel or Genos, the chosen ones. Undeterred, Jinwoo asks to see the real thing for himself. He's ready to find out what a player zone truly offers. Soon, the duo reaches the base of a massive looming tower. Jin Ah remains skeptical, questioning if Jinwoo's new wind fairy is truly special or just another low-tier summon. He refuses to show his hand just yet. Determined to prove her point, Jin Ah challenges him to show his pet first, making sure he doesn't doubt her might. She conjures a magic sphere, glowing with confidence. The light fades to reveal a C-rank shadow elf, a creature Jinwoo knows only as a mere training tool for experience. Shocked by the sight of such a high rank, Jinwoo wonders if these nobles can even understand human speech. He waves his arms frantically to test the limit, but the elf remains silent, leaving him to realize. Jin Ah is baffled when Jinwoo starts talking to the empty air, wondering when pets became vocal companions. But Jinwoo has just realized a game-changing truth: his pets definitely can talk. After a brief argument over his secrecy, Jin Ah leads the way, dragging a reluctant Jinwoo through the streets. Eventually, they arrive at a bright, bustling thoroughfare that feels entirely alien to him. Looking around at the vibrant crowd, Jinwoo can hardly believe this is the same Jamsil arena he once knew. Jin Ah explains that the testing towers destroyed the area's joy, replacing it with a gloomy atmosphere. The threat of the dungeons in Jamsil arena is so great that nobody wants to have fun here. Yet Jinwoo finds the local market, where players trade summoning scrolls and runes, absolutely captivating. Watching the trade, he can't help but recall his past life's rituals with his old friend. Seeing his hesitation, Jin Ah holds up a brochure, offering him the basics of this new reality. Jin Ah suggests that a newbie like him should join the Player Headquarters Academy to learn the ropes, but Jinwoo insists he can handle his own growth alone. Though she is skeptical, Jinwoo's confidence remains unshaken as he stares down his future. Jin Ah heads home, leaving Jinwoo alone in the bustling market after he declines her advice. She watches him with suspicion, wondering if the man who seems possessed is truly capable of surviving on his own. Jinwoo quickly summons Ramba, but as she begins to glow, he lunges to cover her mouth with his finger. He pulls her close, whispering a strict command. From this moment on, she is forbidden to speak outside of a dungeon. Surprised by the command, Ramba nods, realizing the necessity of keeping the legendary hero's identity hidden. With his secret safe for now, Jinwoo realizes he must solve his most pressing problem. He needs startup capital to begin clearing dungeons. The reality of his situation hits him when he checks his phone. His meager savings are almost entirely gone. He refuses to ask his parents for help, knowing they are already working 3 jobs just to pay the rent. Desperate but determined, he realizes he can still succeed even with next to nothing. Because even in this new world, no one can compare to the greatness of God Jinwoo. Jinwoo always conquered this game without spending a cent, and he refuses to let reality change that. Believing he can climb back to the top of this new world too. He realizes it's a gift from his mother, a gesture of love he never asked for. The realization stings as he realizes how much his mother has sacrificed while caring for him. He vividly remembers her holding his hand by his hospital bed, praying for his recovery. Tearing up, Jinwoo vows to succeed so his family can finally live in prosperity. With every second counting, he knows he must grow stronger and start clearing dungeons. To that end, he invests his limited resources into 3 low-level summon scrolls, and first, prepares to build a team. He summons a slime mass, a winged butterfly, and a poisonous lizard, finding himself lucky to pull these even at such low ranks. The lizard's venom is perfect for quick tactical strikes. Now that his team is assembled, he must begin the grueling cycle of hunting and farming to climb back to the top. Jinwoo realizes that collecting 10 X-rank pets is his path to the top, if he can just survive the grind. To find them, he needs a dungeon, but he quickly discovers that reality has changed the rules of the game. Searching online, he realizes entering isn't as simple as clicking a map in the mobile version. Everything feels alien in this new world, and Jinwoo is left staring at his phone in shock. The player area is familiar, but the rules are evolving. He's shocked to learn that even with a pet, not everyone can just walk into a dungeon now. Only officially registered players are allowed to enter. Exhausted and feeling incredibly unlucky to wake up, just as the world shifted, Jinwoo sits alone. Ramba approaches him, offering silent support with a hopeful look that breaks his heavy mood. Jin-Ah and his mother both call out to him, oblivious to the chaos he has just survived. When he asks about the new rules, Jin-Ah reveals that she had actually forgotten they had been implemented. Jin-Ah simply laughs, admitting she forgot. The rule was recently forced upon everyone because so many people were dying in the dungeons. Because of the rising death toll, the government has deployed staff at dungeon entrances to manage the chaos. Entering requires strict permission, and a tedious registration process involving test battles awaits any aspiring player. With player greed threatening the very fabric of society, the government has implemented a strict rating system. Jin-Ah laments that while the world ranks its top players, their country remains in the shadows. If only they had the legendary god Jinwoo, they could finally rise to the top. He offers a casual reply, but as he hangs up, a heavy realization sets in. After a long day, Jinwoo heads home to a warm meal prepared by his mother. His father sits beside her, reading the newspaper, unaware of the secret world Jinwoo is stepping into. At 6 a.m., Jinwoo prepares to leave before the sun is even up. His journey for strength finally beginning. Jinwoo pulls on his shoes, his voice heavy as he addresses his parents, mom and dad, with a heartfelt apology. His parents watch him stunned by his sudden departure, as his father brushes off the tension, and his mother begs him to be careful. While the world focuses on the era of players, South Korea's rankings suffer because greed and delusions of grandeur lead many to die needlessly in dungeons, a reality Jinwoo knows all too well. Standing in a massive line at the registration office, Jinwoo submits his application. Only 50 people will pass the final test to earn official player status, making the competition fierce. With thousands more waiting in line, Jinwoo realizes the journey ahead is daunting, yet remains focused on his goal as he leaves the building. Sometime later, the staff are discussing the difficulty of selecting just 50 people, including Chan Seok, a judge from headquarters, who believes that true talent is being overlooked by the old men behind the scenes. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the office, sending everyone to their feet in terror. Chansuk begins screaming. As the world erupts through the rising dust, a stranger emerges, having calmly slaughtered his own brothers. He is flanked by a terrifying horde of monsters. The massive horde of monsters trailing him explains his terrifying confidence, causing Chanseok to mutter, "Just beginning." Monsters begin to burst violently through the floor, overwhelming everyone in sight. As bystanders panic, wondering if this is an attack by headquarters or a bandit gang, Jinwoo looks up from his music. Sensing the growing danger, he turns to ask what's happening. Seeing the brutal confrontation, Jinwoo stands to investigate the madness around him. The crowd is paralyzed by the terrifying thought that they might all die here. The situation might stabilize because Chanseok is on the scene, a fighter known as a demon when facing bandits. Declaring an emergency, Chanseok commands everyone to summon their pets and raise their shields immediately. As a bandit claims to be an apostle of justice, his monster charges forward, forcing Jinwoo to hide behind a table to watch the chaos unfold from the sidelines. Moments later, the room erupts into a blaze of light and explosions. The battle rages on with blinding flashes, but the bandits' taunts only manage to enrage Chansok. Watching the fight, Jinwoo whispers to Ramba that the combatant is playing like trash, prompting a quiet chuckle from the fairy. Watching the carnage, Jinwoo fears the truth. If he intervenes and reveals his strength, his dream of a normal life is over. He weighs the cost of his secrecy against the brutality before the chaos, but he can't stay a bystander. Jinwoo steps forward and touches Chansok's shoulder. Chansok shouts a warning for him to get back to safety, but Jinwoo isn't listening. Instead, Jinwoo delivers a blunt critique, telling him he's failing to use his fire turtle skill properly to counter the buffs from the enemy's buffers. The enemy is using fire resistance, turning red as buffs activate. Therefore, Chansok unleashes his fire turtle skill, throwing the monster into a sudden inferno. Chansok rejoices as the bandit's master is crushed. Against the ground, the bandit calling him a freak while Chanseok continues to destroy his enemies. But as the bandit's pets fall, he turns to see a monster's claw approaching from behind, begging desperately for mercy. Chansok remains cold, reminding him that bandits are executed on the spot. After a final chilling question, the bandit is instantly killed by Ivy. As the blood spills, the bystanders wonder if the fight is finally over. Jinwoo watches the brutal end in shock, realizing that this world has changed forever here. Survival requires more than just strength. Chansok, a member of the player council, approaches to apologize for the chaos. He thanks Jinwoo for the help, but his next question carries weight. He offers a reward for the assistance, but then asks if Jinwoo belongs to a guild. Jinwoo denies any membership, leaving the officials stunned by his lack of registration. Chansuk can't believe such a powerful buff exists in someone who isn't even on the radar. Seeking clarity, Jinwoo hands over his ID. The official promises a reward once the data is verified, leaving Jinwoo to depart into the bright sunlight. Suspicious of the unusual profile, Chansuk immediately calls for a deep investigation into this mysterious newcomer. Out in the fresh air, Jinwoo begins his day. He buys a delicious pastry for Ramba, watching as the fairy pounces on the sweet treat. It is a quiet moment of normalcy, far from the violence of the registration office. As Ramba enjoys her snack, Jinwoo reflects on how close he came to changing everything. He realizes he can no longer stay on the sidelines to survive. He must hunt and collect the summoning scrolls he needs. Jinwoo sets his sights on new targets, an E-rank drill instructor and a D-rank explosive dragon. He stands up from the bench and asks Ramba if they should head out. Later, Chansuk receives a call from a colleague while out for a walk. He is stunned to learn that Jinwoo was hospitalized for 3 years, explaining his lack of registration. Since the accidents happened when the world changed, the timeline finally makes sense. Therefore, Jinwoo applied for player status immediately upon his discharge. The revelation leaves Chansuk speechless, his hands shaking as he grips Jinwoo's personal file. When a colleague asks what happened, Chansuk quickly brushes it off, mentioning an upcoming exam. He insists on handling the exam himself, realizing that surviving a coma and immediately registering shows incredible adaptability. To Chansuk, Jinwoo seems like a burgeoning talent destined for greatness. Meanwhile, Jinwoo gets ready for the crowd he knows is waiting. Jinwoo faces a crowd of competitors, but to him, becoming a player will be as easy as after all, no one knows the rules of the game better than he does. As the assembly gathers, the atmosphere begins to shift when Chansuk suddenly appears. The official announces he is here as an examiner from the main office, meaning the written exam is about to commence. Much later, the two men sit together in a quiet cafe to discuss the details of the process. When Chansuk asks if the sudden meeting surprised him, Jinwoo admits yes, he never expected to see an examiner here. Chansuk suggests it might be fate and asks how his preparation has been going. Jinwoo pauses, realizing he must be careful with his answers for the upcoming test. Looking at a pet combination on the table, he realizes it's the exact one he suggested to the official. He decides he should at least ask permission before revealing his secret. Jinwoo claims his training was fine, even if it was a bit boring. Chansuk seems relieved by the news. However, this meeting wasn't just small talk. Chansuk has brought him here to discuss the rewards he promised. Chansuk pauses, curious if Jinwoo was a gamer Samyonen who has actually played Summoner's Battle. Since it would be odd for a summoner to know the mechanics without being a gamer, Jinwoo admits he has played, which confirms Chansuk's suspicions. To avoid exposing his legendary status, Jinwoo lies and claims he only played for a year, since the game is practically dead. The deception works, but Chansuk's reaction is surprisingly intense as he repeats, "Is that true?" Chansuk asks, bewildered that Jinwoo spent a whole year on such a defunct game. Impressed by the dedication, Chansuk acknowledges that most top players haven't even touched the game in months. Chansuk apologizes for the intrusion and presents Jinwoo with 2 potential rewards, to which Jinwoo replies that the first option is immediate player registration and employment, granting him a prestigious position at the main office, while the second is a massive cash reward. The massive sum of 5 million won makes the choice clear for Jinwoo, though Chansuk is left questioning his decision. Instead of a prestigious career at the main office, Jinwoo chooses the cash. He has no time for bureaucracy when there are pets to find. He declines the job entirely, preferring to handle his registration on his own terms. He's already focused on his next goal. As he leaves, a girl approaches to explain that today's dungeon run is effectively an exam. It's Tuesday's dungeon, and the clock is ticking. He must finish as fast as possible to succeed. Watching from the sidelines, Chansuk marvels at Jinwoo's innate understanding of runes and creatures, sensing a world-class talent has emerged. Chansuk realizes he may have underestimated this boy. If Jinwoo succeeds, he could climb the world rankings before anyone knows his name. Even the typically stoic professors are impressed by the rookie's potential. This talent is something Korea hasn't seen in years. With the briefings complete, the professor opens a portal, signaling that the test has finally begun. Jinwoo steps through the gate and into a dangerous new world. He is not alone, however, as his summons stand ready. Ramba, the EX rank wind fairy, who immediately begins to buff his stats. Inside the labyrinthine dungeon, Tolgo begins his assault on the monsters. Jinwoo needs to navigate this maze and clear the slimes to reach the boss room. Since the slimes are slow, he ignores them and charges forward through the familiar halls. He spots a room ahead and prepares to take a shortcut, but the system suddenly interrupts everything. A massive, gigantic slime appears before him, stopping the party in their tracks. Jinwoo orders his pets to charge, and Tolgo pounces with everything he has. Jinwoo pounces on the monster, slamming his fists into it as beams of light pierce through its body. The sheer attack speed is terrifying, and a moment later, the system announces the dungeon is cleared. A time of 5 minutes and 32 seconds flashes across the screen. It's slow compared to his legendary days, but the system rewards him with an advanced summon scroll and a digging potion. This massive reduction in time marks a new South Korean record. Back at the office, confusion reigns as officials wonder if Jinwoo is a real player. He doesn't look the part, yet the numbers don't lie. The news spreads that an unknown player has shattered the national record, leaving everyone in awe. Chansok chuckles, realizing that Jinwoo is more than just a lucky rookie. Recognizing a national treasure when they see one, Chanseok slams the table. He insists they must register Jinwoo immediately to keep him from being snatched up by another country. Records are divided into national and world tiers. Kyunho currently holds the Korean national record. With Rachel holding the world's top spot, Jinwoo's time makes everyone wonder if there's even a point in the qualifying match. He never could have imagined that his talent would soon lead him to this towering building. After smashing the record in just 5 minutes, Jinwoo is suddenly swarmed by a joyful Chanseok, who can't believe the skill he just witnessed. Chanseok offers him a player's license, and Jinwoo accepts, officially registering his name. As Chanseok asks how such a feat was possible, Jinwoo realizes that revealing his true secrets could change everything. While state support might bring wealth and fame, he knows the darker side. He could be kidnapped and exploited for every drop of information he possesses. Jinwoo senses the danger of being squeezed dry by those hungry for information. Deciding to be frank, Jinwoo suggests moving the conversation elsewhere to see if he can use the government to his advantage. Chansok begs for his assistance, insisting that the headquarters desperately needs Jinwoo's unique knowledge. Chansok apologizes, revealing the truth. Jinwoo had been confined to a hospital bed for 3 long years. Jinwoo demands to know if Chanseok will continue to investigate him despite his registration. But Chanseok reassures him, noting how most people panic when the state mentions itself. Jinwoo, however, remains unfazed, clearly knowing his own immense worth. After a slow sip of tea, he asks what the state can actually offer him. Chanseok admits the only immediate reward is his cooperation. Jinwoo looks at him skeptically, prompting Chanseok to explain his political influence. As he hopes his rising popularity might lead to a high position in the headquarters, Jinwoo sees through the politics, knowing that vague political promises won't help him if the government can't provide real resources, as he needs more than just empty words. So Jinwoo sets the terms, proposing a 1-month trial period to test their collaboration. He'll focus on his own growth for a month, returning any assistance if the partnership fails. Chansok realizes he has no choice but to accept the deal, even if it means dealing with Jinwoo for a month. They shake hands on the agreement, but Jinwoo quickly adds one vital condition. He wants his record kept a secret to protect his safety. Chanseok starts to question the request, but realizes he can't offer much protection against the powerful gangs ruling the streets. Chanseok agrees to hide the record, though he warns that rumors might still leak out in this unpredictable world. Jinwoo accepts the risk and prepares to leave, leaving the official to wish him luck with his next meeting. Walking away, Jinwoo smiles as he checks his phone to see just how much his first dungeon was worth. Upon opening his system, Jinwoo finds that his first-time rewards are truly staggering, including high-level summon scrolls. He resists the urge to open them immediately, deciding instead that selling them for capital is the smarter move. He knows most player transactions go through headquarters, so he checks the market value of his newfound assets. The result leaves him stunned. A single item costs 3 million won, meaning he earned 9 million won in just 5 minutes. This is only the beginning. If things continue like this, his family will never have to worry about money again. He decides to sell his high-level summons first, and then use that wealth to buy low. He plans to sell his high-level summons first, and use that wealth to buy low. They are being sold for 5,001 won, despite a surplus of sellers. Determined to find the reason, Jinwoo calls his sister, Jin-ah, to ask about the strange market prices. After explaining the situation, she reveals that headquarters is buying them up. Apparently, the government is using taxpayer funds to support players by purchasing scrolls en masse. While the minimum price is set, the daily purchase quantity is strictly limited. Because players can always sell to the government, no one sees any reason to lower their prices. This policy is causing a massive accumulation of unnecessary low-level scrolls. Realizing the opportunity, Jinwoo returns to Chanseok, chuckling at how the market has shifted. Chanseok is surprised by his sudden return, but Jinwoo is already focused on his next move. Surprised by a sudden windfall, Chanseok offers to assist him with any requests. Level summoning scrolls. He wants as many as possible, and since headquarters receives 50,000 daily, Chanseok thinks it isn't a problem, though he might have questions about such a massive order. Jinwoo doesn't plan to sell them. Instead, he intends to exploit the market's oversupply by collecting them himself. Chan-seok watches, realizing Jinwoo has a hidden agenda that sets him apart from every other player. Chan-seok smiles, presenting a new condition. If Jinwoo wants the scrolls, he must provide useful information in return. As a public official, Chan-seok can't risk appearing to waste taxpayer money on a single player. Therefore, he offers an even exchange information for an equivalent number of low-level scrolls. Jinwoo realizes this is no simple gift, as Chan-seok is looking for a way to justify the deal. The reward for breaking a national time record is massive, 3 high-level summon scrolls per dungeon. These rewards can be re-earned every time a new record is set, allowing players to continuously strengthen themselves by fighting over mere seconds. Chan-seok explains this system as the ultimate way to build national power. Jinwoo prepares to reveal his next move, offering a second piece of information as leverage. The strategy for Tuesday's dungeon is revealed, and Chan-seok realizes it is the exact same method he once used himself. Jinwoo realizes Chan-seok doesn't even know the legendary 5 emperors use this exact path. With this secret, anyone could clear the labyrinth in just 3 minutes, a claim that leaves Chan-seok stunned. Jinwoo prepares to answer. Jinwoo raises his hand to set a heavy price, 50 high-level scrolls on top of their previous deal. Chan-seok can only react with dumbfounded screams at the sudden demand. 150 million? Jinwoo replies, calling it cheap because this method works in much more than just low-level dungeons. Chan-seok agrees to the massive terms, noting that record-breaking bonuses can reach 1 billion won. He'll transfer the 150 million immediately if the info is correct, and he'll also supply Jinwoo with 10,000 low-level scrolls daily. Jinwoo smiles, knowing he won't regret this deal. After a little while, Chan-seok has gathered his subordinates, and the confused staff members ask why the chairman called them together so suddenly. Chan-seok explains that he has gathered them to test a specific theory, leaving the room in anticipation. This isn't just an experiment. Chan-seok explains that he tested an incredible new strategy with a player named Jinwoo, and the results were nothing short of excellent. The subordinates realize this is exactly why the chairman had forbidden the information from being shared. Exactly! Chan-seok confirms, as they prepare to smash the Tuesday dungeons. The key is this: Spotted Komodo, a summonable lizard-like creature with strong defense and decent attack. While it looks like a standard tank, it hides a secret. Publicly, it's considered a mediocre rank B pet that is difficult to level up. But in reality, its main food is giant slimes, allowing for a lightning-fast dungeon clear. The system reported Tuesday's dungeon was cleared in just 5 minutes and 29 seconds. The team follows the plan perfectly, reaching the boss's room in under 4 minutes. They realize this lizard is a veritable goldmine. As players across Korea begin shattering records using this method, the world watches in bewilderment. Chan-seok is delighted by the confirmation of Jinwoo's talent. He realizes this man isn't just some novice player, but someone far more dangerous. Therefore, he decides to build an entire team specifically to support him. This team will change everything. Meanwhile, back in private, Jinwoo looks over personal files, his hands trembling as he checks the massive wealth he's amassed. With a mountain of low-level scrolls, Jinwoo prepares to turn his newfound wealth into power, hoping for something better than the usual fodder. He asks Ramba if she's ready, and as the ritual begins, he dives into the endless grind of summoning. An hour later, he's collapsed on the floor, surrounded by a massive pile of useless pets. Thousands of scrolls have been wasted, and all he has to show for it are more weak-rank creatures. Ramba explains that his luck is simply gone. The summoning system is rigged, with pets being 10 times rarer than the players who seek them. Jinwoo is stunned, but Ramba drops a bombshell. While most pets are common, certain isolated ones are unique. She claims only he can summon those legendary X-rank pets. Text Plosinder for end of stream logic is here, but since panel 3 is last, it is a hawk out logic below to ensure compliance with reels if needed, but following instructions to narrate up to end macker as is. The odds are astronomical, but Ramba explains that once a creature is summoned, it won't appear again until it is sold, meaning the horned caterpillars will vanish from the pool entirely. Even though mid-tier scrolls are more likely to succeed, they are too expensive and too rare for his current mission. Driven by necessity, Jinwoo tears open another scroll and shouts into the void, hoping for a miracle. Ramba simply wishes him luck. As evening settles, Jinwoo collapses onto his bed, exhausted and feeling like he's at his breaking point. Beside his pillow, Ramba asks for a cream bun, completely unfazed by the intensity of his quest. After opening 140,000 scrolls in just 2 weeks, he is running on fumes, contemplating how much further he must go. Dreaming of cream buns, Jinwoo knows he can't rely on his parents forever. Therefore, he and Ramba head to the Fusion Center, a former hotel that has been repurposed for pet synthesis. Just as other buildings have changed, this space now serves to merge creatures. After checking in at an ATM, Jinwoo approaches the registration desk with number 125. Ramba warns him to be careful with the machine, but he remains focused on their turn. Inside, The system welcomes them to the center and asks if he wants to synthesize the registered wind fairy. He agrees, and the system begins the process by sacrificing a fire lizard. As the lizard disappears, Ramba is engulfed in a bright blue flame during the ritual. The fusion is complete, leaving Ramba at level 21 with increased intelligence, though Jinwoo realizes the climb to level 100 will take forever. A few days later, Chan-seok notices things are going too well for his employee, Byung-jin. While Chan-seok plans to invest heavily in Jinwoo's new talent management team, he wonders what the young man is up to. He is shocked to learn that instead of resting, Jinwoo is using his massive winnings to buy even more low-level scrolls. Chan-seok wonders if Jinwoo is just dumping cash into worthless, low-level scrolls, but he suspects a brilliant plan is afoot. He decides to support the young man's rise, realizing that if Jinwoo becomes a national hero, the Bureau's reputation will skyrocket with him. Meanwhile, the grueling ritual continues as Jinwoo stares at a mountain of 1,558 used scrolls, his stomach turning at the sheer repetition. Ramba asks how much longer this can last, only for Jinwoo to vow to continue until one of them dies. Their grim determination is interrupted when a woman in heels approaches them, startling the exhausted duo. The newcomer is Yujia, an official from headquarters, who claims her sudden arrival is nothing special. She reveals she's here specifically to discuss the summoning scrolls Jinwoo mentioned to the chairman, looking to reach an agreement. After considering his recent achievements, the Bureau has decided to offer him terms that could change everything. Yujia offers him a special exception: half-price scrolls and an extra 100 million won for talent management. Jinwoo is both delighted and embarrassed, but Yujia insists that this lucrative deal must remain a secret. She leaves him to his business, leaving Jinwoo to reflect on the chairman's true intentions behind this support. As evening falls, Jinwoo remains focused on his goal, knowing he must achieve EX rank to repay this favor. The search for legendary pets continues, and Jinwoo realizes he can't stop until he finds the dragon mage he needs. But for now, the system only yields another useless F-rank snake, leaving his quest unfinished. Desperate to break his streak of bad luck, Jinwoo begs for a drill instructor and an explosive dragon mage. Suddenly, a brilliant golden glow erupts, mirroring the intense power of Ramba's arrival. The system confirms the impossible. Jinwoo has successfully summoned an X-rank explosive dragon mage. Tears of joy break out, but Jinwoo quickly snaps back to reality, refusing to let his guard down. He explains that they are currently riding a wave of luck, and he must keep going to find even more. Tearing through more scrolls, he catches another miracle, a second X-rank training instructor pet. The newly summoned drill instructor, once an unremarkable E-rank pet, looks around in total confusion. Though his combat power is low, this pet's true value lies in an obsession with training and a unique ability to break down barriers to gain the constructor skill, a power that can drastically accelerate the growth of other pets. This extraordinary talent is why he once outperformed every other player, making him a legendary asset for any team. Even if Ramba assumed she didn't actually want to get stronger, Jinwoo waves at the creature, greeting him after all this time. The instructor's eyes widen as he recognizes the nickname, shouting in disbelief, "Could it really be the god, Jinwoo?" As Jinwoo confirms his identity, the instructor bows in awe, having never imagined he'd be reunited with his master after being isolated for so long. Seeing Ramba and the instructor back together, Jinwoo feels a profound sense of honor. A dragon mage named Pokrion approaches him, asking if he is truly the legendary god Jinwoo. Pokrion is a D-rank sorcerer, a sealed creature that carries an ancient fire dragon in her heart. Capable of unleashing massive fire damage through a unique absorption skill only Jinwoo can unlock. After a sweet reunion, Jinwoo asks her not to use his title in public, as he just wants a quiet life. He suggests they all get some rest, and they head back to the apartment. Exhausted, Jinwoo falls into a deep sleep, surrounded by his loyal pets. As they sit in silence, the instructor greets Ramba and Pokrion, noting the long time since they last met. But the warm greeting quickly shifts to a harsh reality. He declares them too weak to be of any help to their master. Therefore, he demands they train relentlessly, even while Jinwoo sleeps, to reach much greater heights. Pokrion agrees to focus her magic, waiting for him to open her absorption ability. The instructor then turns his gaze to a fearful Ramba, ordering her to begin her strength training immediately. Ramba can only exclaim in strength training, but she was a fairy. The instructor demands Ramba start her grueling regimen by swinging a heavy frying pan 5,000 times. Horrified, Ramba reaches out to a sleeping Jinwoo for help, but he remains oblivious to her plight. Meanwhile, Yujia arrives at Chan-seok's office with troubling news. New official orders have arrived. Chan-seok is to receive no more low-level summoning scrolls. To make matters worse, the director is demanding a detailed report on his past usage. Yujiya suspects a deputy is behind this sudden scrutiny, and Chanseok realizes someone is actively trying to pick on his every move. Without these scrolls, Chanseok will have nothing to give Jinwoo, leaving him at the mercy of management's strict oversight. As Chanseok worries about the approaching deadline, his phone rings with a sudden interruption. He expects more trouble, but Jinwoo sends a message stating he no longer needs low-level scrolls. Later, on Gwanexin Mountain, Jinwoo arrives at the entrance of a dungeon. In this world, dungeons are categorized into several types, starting with the daily dungeon used for gathering materials. Then there is the Tower of Trials, a high-risk zone that pushes players to their absolute limits. Beyond that are raid dungeons like the Demon Dragon of Chaos. But for now, Jinwoo is focused on something much simpler, a regular dungeon, the perfect place to begin his ascent. In the game, they were merely staged dungeons, but in this reality they spawn randomly and without warning. Jinwoo doesn't need a group to face them. He only needs to reach the gate before a breach occurs. After presenting his license to a guard, he steps inside the threshold, ready for the inspection. Sparks of magic erupt as he enters, revealing a chaotic scene of monsters clashing in the shadows. The sight is far from a game. This is the visceral reality of a dungeon at war. Amidst the terrifying red hues and the screams of people shouting for blood, the horror is overwhelming. Jinwoo realizes that everything he once played for fun has transformed into a brutal living nightmare. Closing his eyes to steady his mind, he orders his pets to prepare for the slaughter. The battle begins. The system confirms his new squad, a wind fairy, a drill instructor, and an explosive dragon mage. Jinwoo also brings out a D-rank golden fairy and a mini-Kong, then orders Ramba to charge the mini-Kong toward the orc boss. The plan for this dungeon is simple. Exploit the chaos and take out the giant orc at the end. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the cavern, but the brute orc manages to push through the smoke, swinging its massive sharp weapon at the struggling summons. Ramba screams for Mini-Kong to finish it, and with a sudden burst of speed, they manage to cut the creature in half. The raw power of the EX rank makes the battle far easier than Jinwoo anticipated, leaving the knights in awe of the team's incredible strength as Mini-Kong charges straight into the next wave. As the battle rages on, the dragon mage Pakreon begins chanting a powerful spell, preparing a devastating strike. Suddenly, a massive wave of dragon-shaped flames erupts, washing over the entire area. The inferno swallows the monsters whole, leaving nothing behind but destruction. With the final monster falling, the system confirms the dungeon has been cleared. Ramba and Pakreon cheer for the victory, while the system begins upgrading their stats to reflect the intense combat. The rewards roll in, including a valuable medium summon scroll, proving the efficiency of Jinwoo's strategy. Jinwoo looks on, ready for more. Realizing he just earned 500,000 won in mere minutes, Jinwoo knows he needs more dungeons. To maximize his profit and his pet's growth, he decides to commit to an endless grind of dungeon raiding. Meanwhile, in a completely different setting, Chanseok sits in his office, groaning under the weight of administrative stress. Yujiwa questions his confidence, but the tension in the office only rises as staff begin criticizing the department's budget and lack of successful rookies. The argument boils over as critics point out that not a single person mentored under Chanseok has even made the national team. Chanseok continues to fume, dismissing the new record as nothing more than nonsense from a freak. Despite his frustration, his instincts tell him that the player's skills are something to be reckoned with. Refusing to tolerate the disrespect any longer, Chanseok challenges Yujiya to a high-stakes wager. He bets that a talent under his supervision will rise higher than any other, or he will resign and pay 1 billion won. Chanseok insists he believes in the boy's potential to provide invaluable information, but their discussion is suddenly interrupted when Byung-jin bursts into the office with urgent news. The messenger reveals a player has been single-handedly defending dozens of D-rank dungeons. It's Jinwoo, and the news is staggering. He's clearing these dungeons in under 5 minutes. Chanseok's smile returns, certain that his instincts were correct, while Jinwoo's bank account reaches a massive 26 million won, the result of his relentless grind in the dungeons. His time has finally arrived, and he begins meticulously splitting his wealth into separate accounts for his daily life. Setting aside 10 million won a month for his family's future, the scale of his growing wealth feels almost like a dream. However, to truly reclaim his glory, he needs to collect runes to enhance his power, which requires a specialized main pet for farming dungeons. But the market prices leave him stunned. Summoning high-rank creatures is prohibitively expensive. Knowing he needs massive resources to succeed, he makes a strategic move by calling a powerful contact, sending a subordinate rushing into the chairman's office with shocking news. Chanseok is baffled by the strange request from Jinwoo, which includes a promise to reveal a secret method for clearing all daily dungeons. The request turns into a massive shopping list of pets, leaving Chan Seok's staff completely speechless. This list is so expensive that even with the promise of new achievements, it might bankrupt the headquarters. Chan Seok realizes that if he can secure these resources, Jinwoo could change everything, but the cost is astronomical. He agrees to take the matter to the director, hoping for a miracle. Frustrated by the bureaucracy and the country's lack of progress, Chan Seok slams his fist on the table. His subordinates watch in confusion as the request is outright refused, leaving the future of Jinwoo's training in jeopardy. Chan Seok is told that the director demands proof of progress before any more resources are granted. Yet, if Jinwoo's information is correct, the world is sitting on an absolute jackpot that the clueless officials are ignoring. Yujia steps in, suggesting that selling such immense potential for a mere 2 billion is an insult. As the heiress to the powerful Daesum group, Yujia possesses the influence to change how Jinwoo is handled. She is no mere official. She is a woman poised to become a player herself, and her eyes are fixed on Jinwoo. Yujia sees his immense potential and begins to weigh the profit of forming a specialized management team just for him. Chan Seok is perplexed by her ambition, but she insists that money won't be an issue for their next meeting. The unexpected luxury of an elite restaurant catches Jinwoo off guard as he realizes the sheer scale of the influence Yujia wields. She had requested a private meeting to discuss his future in detail, a move that's impossible for her to refuse after seeing what he can do. Now, he finds himself being treated like royalty. He's being treated so well that he's unsure how to react, but it only motivates him to keep providing information. Looking up Yujia's profile beforehand, Jinwoo is stunned by her immense wealth and high-status lineage. Despite the luxury of their dinner, Yujia reveals a harsh reality. Headquarters is hesitant to fully support him. Jinwoo isn't one to be sidelined, threatening to cut off his valuable information flow if they won't cooperate. However, he's more determined than ever to reach the top, even if he has to walk his own path. Suddenly, Yujia pivots, offering a radical alternative to keep him in their orbit. She proposes finding a management company dedicated exclusively to him, driven by profit rather than caution, leaving the door open for a partnership that could change everything. Ready to squeeze every drop of value from his talent, and Yujia is determined to be the one to broker it. She offers him Dyson's professional backing and promises to send over a contract for his massive new talent. Jinwoo is baffled when she mentions his pet orders, wondering how they're already being handled. But it's a gift, she says, leaving him overjoyed as the massive business deal unfolds, confused by his sudden absence. While Yujia prepares her next move, Ramba collapses from exhaustion in the training arena. Even amidst the instructor's intense shouts for more effort, Ramba and Pakrion fall silent as someone approaches. Yujia arrives to find Jinwoo's squad regrouping after their morning training. Jinwoo dismisses his main squad for now, knowing he will formally introduce them later. Instead of a formal introduction, Yujia offers a gift through the system, a rare trade opportunity. Yujia offers a trade, and Jinwoo knows that if he tries to cheat and escape the deal, he accepts the gift with gratitude, knowing the system's curse ensures the trade is legitimate. Thanks her for the precious gift. Yujia chuckles, pulls out a contract for their new management company, U-Bike, and explains the split. Jinwoo gets 70% of the shares, she takes 25%, and Chan Seok receives the remaining 5%. Under this new deal, Chan Seok will stay at headquarters to support them from the inside. Jinwoo is stunned to learn that the staff she hired have already left headquarters for her team. He asks if she's sure about giving him such a massive 70% stake in the company. Yujia's deal was a calculated risk, and the contract was finally sealed. The stamp hit the paper, turning their business partnership into something much more official. But the moment of celebration is shattered when a sudden explosion rocks the room. Jinwoo is stunned to see Jin Ah, his sister, standing there in shock. She claims she was just curious, but Jinwoo calls out her obvious stalking. The tension rises as Jin Ah realizes just how much has changed, and then she suddenly screams. Rushing to her brother, a frantic Jin Ah demands to know how he ended up in this situation. It turns out a clause in the contract meant the family was destined to meet sooner or later. Dumbfounded by Yujia's interest in her, Jin Ah begins to spiral into a frenzy of questions. She asks if his rise to fame was just a byproduct of a mobile game, but Jinwoo quickly deflects, insisting it was a different game entirely. As he realizes she still has no idea he is the legendary god Jinwoo, her disbelief reaches a breaking point. Jinwoo knows it might take a long time to explain everything, but he can't risk his family's safety by revealing the truth too soon. He needs to become strong enough to protect those who cared for him for 3 years before he can finally reveal his secret. After a tense moment, the instructor notices an elf in the bushes, and Jinwoo offers a piece of advice to Jin Ah about maximizing her efficiency. He suggests summoning a shadow wolf to work alongside her dark elf, but Jin-Ah seems completely unaware of such a creature, leaving her lost on how she could ever reach rank B. The price for a shadow wolf is a staggering 500 million, a sum that would take Jin-Ah 20 years to save. But Jinwoo promises he will get it for her in a month, causing her to scream with pure joy. She wonders if he's just being cool, even suggesting she should just save up and buy it herself instead. He simply tells her not to cry when the day arrives, before ending the training session, leaving Jin-Ah feeling that something in her brother has changed. A week later, Jinwoo stands before a dungeon gate as Yujiya explains the specialized gear he'll be wearing. This advanced 3D recording equipment is used to sell walkthrough videos for massive profit. Feeling the pressure of being filmed, Jinwoo realizes this setup is far more stressful than any movie set. Stepping into Monday's dungeon for the first time, Jinwoo wonders if he can truly handle the pressure. Therefore, when he asks if he can break the national record immediately, Yujiya can't help but wonder if he's joking. She tells him to stay calm, hoping the massive contract isn't weighing too heavily on him. With a simple nod, Jinwoo enters the portal to face a dungeon where the national record stands at 7 minutes. Time is everything here, and without attack power runes, survival becomes a different story entirely. In this defensive dungeon, he must fend off waves of undead for 30 minutes, yet the clock remains his greatest enemy. Even in a defensive battle, every second counts. To finish quickly, the best strategy is to bypass the waves and head straight for the final boss. The system prompts him to summon his squads, and Jinwoo prepares his preset teams for battle. His pets gather around him alongside a golden fairy, forming a line of defense against the coming storm. The undead legion arrives, and his powerful pets begin scattering the terrifying skeletons with sheer brute force. With the waves being cleared, the golden fairy suggests they make a move on the boss. Reaching the main creature, Jinwoo realizes he's being recorded and quickly bites his tongue to protect his secret identity. Despite the following mobs, they reach the boss area in just 2 minutes, and even the skeletons are struggling. Jinwoo watches Minikong and Hungyu fight with impressive skill, grateful to have such loyal allies by his side. As they approach the boss, Jinwoo prepares his battle sheriff, a long-range specialist whose damage has been useless until now. He orders a sudden halt to the shooting so the priestess can cast a blessing, a move intended to strip the boss of its defenses. The blessing successfully removes the dark shield that granted the monster immunity to ranged attacks, opening a window of opportunity. With the shield down, Jinwoo gives the command to fire. He swings his sword with lethal precision, cleaving skeleton after skeleton into pieces. While Minikong and the Golden Fairy fight without a scratch, Jinwoo realizes his own damage output is pathetic compared to his pets. His health is steadily draining, and his bullets barely even scratch the skeletons. Using weak runes or low-level skills is usually considered a waste of time, but at that moment, something changes. Minikong's health surges as a skeleton is sent flying into the sky, and Jinwoo smiles. He realizes this secret growth only works for regular players. He stands still as Hengyu's sword strikes, destroying the monster before it can touch him. He sees it now. With the right runes and skills, even top-tier monsters will vanish. With the boss falling to the ground in a massive crash, the system announces a completion time of only 4 minutes. This feat shatters the South Korean record, leaving everyone in a state of total disbelief as they celebrate the achievement. It feels almost surreal to Yujiya, especially since it's only been a single week since she provided the pets he used to achieve it. Byungjin notes that Jinwoo's goal isn't just this victory, but breaking his own records in every daily dungeon. This ambition leaves Yujiya questioning the sheer scale of his plan. She wonders if he truly intends to surpass every experienced player in the country, or if he is simply bluffing to climb the ranks. If his talent turns out to be an illusion, Yujiya is determined that she won't let his failure ruin their burgeoning careers. She reassures them that her personal investment is what drives this business, ensuring that even if he fails, their livelihoods will remain secure. Even with such a massive win, their salaries won't change. Yujiya watches him, sensing he is clearly hiding something. He moves through these portals as if they are nothing. A moment later, the impossible happens. A new record is set for Monday's dungeon at just 4 minutes and 12 seconds, smashing the previous time by 3 minutes, leaving the world in shock. As everyone marvels at his unprecedented speed, Yujiya's hands shake with the realization that she is on the verge of a massive jackpot. With a proud fist clenched, she realizes her business is destined for astronomical success. Meanwhile, Jinwoo looks around, deciding it is time to get to work and start farming. A system window appears, asking if he wants to engage the auto battle function. By enabling auto battle, his pets can farm the dungeons themselves, providing him with massive amounts of loot. Jinwoo summons Ramba and assigns her to lead the farming operation. The Wind Fairy is stunned by the new order to become a trainer instead of just a farmer, but Jinwoo has a plan. He will clear the remaining daily dungeons and let Ramba train the rest, creating a perfectly efficient scheme for his growth. Jinwoo smiles, leaving the farming to Ramba as he prepares to head back to the teleporter. Stepping through the portal, he is immediately greeted by assistant Jia and Byungjin, who are eager to welcome him back. Byungjin beams, knowing Jinwoo is exactly the man the group can rely on. As the videos are secured, Jia promises to keep his exploits confidential, and a joyful Byungjin offers his thanks. However, Jinwoo decides he no longer cares if the news spreads this time, much to Jia's surprise. The stakes have changed because he is now a high-value target. He demands strict security to protect his family from the active gangs in Korea. While the dungeon's clearance is announced, Jinwoo reflects on how easily he could dominate the world rankings if he unlocked his pet's true potential, making the next record a mere formality before Wednesday's challenge begins. Wednesday's dungeon is a frost-covered wasteland where the very air is incredibly cold, threatening to freeze Jinwoo to death. As his movement slows to a crawl, he immediately summons his army: Ice Cat, Wind Falcon, Titan Golem, Horned Fairy, and Explosive Dragon Mage. To survive these temperatures, he knows he needs cold resistance, making Ice Cat his most vital asset. He eyes the approaching monsters and smirks, calling forth the Titan Golem to serve as his primary shield. He then summons the Wind Falcon to grant them the speed necessary to navigate the chaos. As the team climbs onto the Golem's massive palm, Jinwoo feels the biting chill starting to turn his stomach. He watches as the monsters charge, realizing that while the Titan Golem is a perfect tank, the battle is only just beginning. It's the perfect tank, but Jinwoo has much more in store. Jinwoo orders Pakrion to stand ready as they take a shortcut on the Golem, and as the Titan leaps into the air, a system warning shrieks. A boss is appearing. A massive creature screams, forcing Jinwoo to shout for his ally to act. Pakrion immediately unleashes her fire mana, shaping it into a giant burning serpent to strike. The boss falls and a new record is shattered in just 4 minutes, though Jinwoo can only celebrate while fighting off the sudden bouts of Golem sickness. But his fame is growing too fast. News of his incredible Wednesday dungeon clear hits the headlines, sparking curiosity about the man behind the name. As Baek Jinwoo's name spreads through the streets, South Korea can talk of nothing else. In every corner of the country, the name Jinwoo is all anyone can talk about. Commoners wonder who he is, while others point to the forums where his records continue to shatter expectations. Even powerful politicians are noticing, debating whether they should have backed him when he first rose to prominence. As news spreads, it becomes clear that in the world of politics, only the final results matter. And currently, Jinwoo's results are making him a target for those who once ignored him, leaving the status quo permanently broken. Refusing to let this luck slip away, an influential man orders his secretary to contact the player directly. They realize they must secure Jinwoo's help at all costs. Monday and Wednesday dungeons drop runes. Tuesday provides reforging potions, and Thursday offers highly coveted skill books. Even without unique pet skills, these treasures are worth any price. But why rest when the loot is so good? Is the Thursday dungeon considered easy because it's a boss rush, a constant battle against a monster with incredible defense? Jinwoo considers a simple tactic, using a rank B White Wolf to shred the enemy's defense. But he knows he could easily steamroll these monsters if his pet's power was fully revealed. Instead, he chooses the standard approach, weakening the target's defenses before delivering a finishing blow. Searching for a way to shatter the current record, Jinwoo reaches toward the massive golem and calls out. As his ally, Hengyu prepares to strike, Jinwoo commands his pets to target the beast's head. Pakrion swings her staff, unleashing a stream of fire that incinerates the golem and kills it instantly. As she lands on her ally's shoulder, the system confirms the dungeon is cleared. A new record has been set, just 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Jinwoo clenches his fists in victory, having beaten the Korean record by a full minute. He glances at Hengyu, thinking his instructor might be overkill. But with a dragon mage like Pakrion by his side, even top-tier dungeons can be cleared in seconds. As Jinwoo prepares to exit the portal, a man approaches him with a look of apology. The stranger asks if he is the player Jinwoo before handing him a business card. He claims they are from headquarters on the director's orders. Jinwoo takes the card and asks if something has happened. The man explains that headquarters is ready to reconsider his previous proposal after seeing these incredible results, but Jinwoo interrupts him, coldly telling them to forget the proposal entirely. The messenger stares in shock at his blunt refusal. Jinwoo has two choices: trust the angel Jia or the headquarters, but he finds the messengers to be nothing more than hollow pretenders. He decides to stick with Jia instead, telling the stunned messenger to deal with Jia if they want to negotiate. He walks away, leaving the man questioning what important information he just missed. As the confusion lingers behind him, Jinwoo shifts his focus to something far more visceral. Unlike other dungeons where pets can fight for him, the Sweating Sickness dungeon requires a different kind of grit. Here, the player must face the danger personally. It's time for him to start training to master this new reality. Realizing he can't rely on dungeons alone, Jinwoo opens his system window to begin a new kind of training, climbs onto Sky's back and orders her toward the Eastern Sea. He's terrified, but he's ready. The wind rushes past as he opens his eyes, realizing that flying is far more exhilarating than he ever imagined. "Okay, let's go," he shouts. Hengyu watches in awe, marveling at how quickly his master is adapting to the skies. Even Pakryon admits that Jinwoo's progress is incredible, noting that even veterans struggled with wyverns at first. As they soar, Pakryon can't help but praise the legend of God Jinwoo. Jinwoo can only offer a bashful, embarrassed response, as they prepare for their next training session with sky dolphins. A few days later, Jinwoo enters Friday's dungeon in search of special runes, ultimately earning the legendary title of God of Clearing. He commands his Wind Falcon, and the system window responds. With only 10 seconds remaining before the run begins, Jinwoo demands a speed buff to reach his destination as quickly as possible. The Falcon beeps as the countdown ends, and Jinwoo lunges forward, his feet blurring as he begins to sprint. He dodges every obstacle with instinctual grace, realizing that physically being in this world is far more exhilarating than any game. Most players must cross the water, but he pushes off the platform and calls for Sky, summoning the Sky Wyvern to assist him. He then shouts for a Sky Dolphin, diving deep underwater to bypass the treacherous obstacles lurking above the surface. Surfacing once more, he commands the Wyvern to take flight, soaring toward the final obstacle in a desperate race for glory. Jinwoo crosses the finish line in a flash, breaking the Korean record and earning a massive special achievement. The hunt continues as he moves towards Saturday. He storms into Saturday's dungeon, leaving nothing but a trail of destroyed monsters in his wake. The clearing time is record-breakingly low. The momentum doesn't stop there. Sunday's dungeon is cleared in an instant, leaving an absolute master defeated and the world in shock. Ramba, Hengyu, and Pakryon all push through their limits, but Jinwoo's success comes with a hard-earned victory. The system confirms his achievement as he shatters the South Korean national record. Wiping sweat from his brow, Jinwoo finally feels he has caught up to the world's top players. He realizes that by farming these dungeons daily, he can drive his clearing times even lower. To reach the Tower of Trials, he knows he must conquer high-level dungeons to secure essential ruins and skills. Meanwhile, in Yujia's office, Jia stares at her phone, mesmerized by the global craze surrounding Jinwoo's name. The world is losing its mind over how he broke every record in just 1 week. Jia turns to her editor, Byung-jin, to ask if the footage is ready. The man clutches his head in disbelief, overwhelmed by the sheer impossibility of the skill level he's witnessing. He offers to show her the footage, though Jinwoo requested that the most intense dungeons be left out. Even without the Thursday and Sunday runs, the video is staggering. As they watch the footage, Jia studies every frame in shock. This nonsense is beyond belief.
Byung-jin notes that Jinwoo's strategy is on a different level, a circus-like performance that defies logic. Is it even possible?
Even the assistant is stunned, claiming no movie could showcase such incredible skill. Seeing his potential, Jia realizes she must use this footage to dominate the pet market. They need to act on this information immediately. Byung-jin prepares to buy as many pets as the budget allows, but Jia's ambition is far greater. Forget the budget, she will buy them all. Even if she has to personally handle the finances, she moves with ruthless efficiency. Her subordinates are so desperate to serve her that they offer everything they own just to satisfy her commands. The plan takes shape. They will release professional guides by the legendary Baek Jinwoo for a mere 10 million won.
Byung-jin questions the low price, but Jia smirks, revealing the true motive. The guides are nothing more than bait for pet sales.
With the strategy set, the assistant turns to her with a final question. What price should we set for? The plan is already in motion, with Jia ordering C-rank pets for 200 million won and B-rank ones for 1 billion. This is 10 times the market price, but Jia knows that once the news breaks, the demand will force everyone to pay whatever she demands. Jia's gamble pays off instantly, as a staggering 377 billion won in sales floods her accounts before the business has even truly begun. The massive profit justifies the initial investment of 5 billion won spent to acquire Jinwoo's pets. With her empire finally taking off, Jia looks toward expansion, starting with the purchase of her own building. Meanwhile, Jinwoo sits on a bench, looking at a much smaller but significant 54 million won earned from selling high-level summoning scrolls. Ramba chirps happily about all the cream buns he can buy, but Jinwoo can only think about the incredible dungeon rewards. When Ramba asks if X-rank pets have stopped dropping, Jinwoo remembers the thousands of scrolls that yielded nothing. He realizes it's better to train his current team than to chase impossible loot. To clear out his inventory, he decides he should talk to Yujia about selling his remaining farmable junk. Jinwoo looks at his phone, realizing that since rune items will continue to drop, he might as well entrust the sales to Jin-ah. It's time to share the profits and repay her for supporting him during his hospital stay. He sends her a message to meet at a designated location, hoping this partnership marks the beginning of a new way to manage his growing wealth. Meanwhile, at a nearby cafe, a group of girls gossips about a player who has a new boyfriend. The chatter turns to envy as they wonder if he owns high-rank pets, or if he'll soon gift his girlfriend a rare rune. Jin-ah, sitting among them, can only exhale with growing dread, unable to find the words to share what is actually on her mind. She keeps her eyes closed, struggling to bridge the gap between her secret and the mystery player everyone is talking about. Jin-ah wonders how she can ever explain that her brother is already running a secret information company, but he likely has his reasons for hiding everything. Even her friends are starting to ask about him, and the weight of the secret is becoming too much to bear. She can't even tell her parents the truth. Just as she's losing her composure, her phone buzzes with a sudden message from Jinwoo. Confused by the unexpected contact, she quickly excuses herself from her friend's dinner plans. Her friends are left puzzled by her sudden exit, questioning her about the brother who only recently woke from a coma. Jin-ah can only offer a vague smile and a promise to catch up later, leaving the cafe to find him. After a short walk, Jin-ah stops dead in her tracks as she spots a familiar sight, Hengyu training with Jinwoo's pets. She stares, wondering if this is the— Jinwoo turns to her in surprise, asking if she's arrived already. Jin-ah rushes to him with a joyful cry, only to freeze in shock at his sudden recovery. She can hardly believe he's no longer on an IV drip, and Jinwoo asks if she is okay. But her eyes are elsewhere, glued to his rare pets, as she notes their skyrocketing market prices. The value is insane. A single celestial wyvern is worth a staggering 1 billion won. Jin-ah can't wrap her head around how he acquired such priceless creatures. She realizes the truth. The pets in the viral video were his all along. Jinwoo remains incredibly calm even when asked where they came from. When he mentions Jia, Jin-ah is stunned to learn they were a gift from the official. She can't believe such expensive assets were just handed over, but Jinwoo is already moving on to the next topic. He pulls a massive pile of dungeon runes from his system window, dumping them before her. As Jin-ah examines the incredible rewards, she realizes the true scale of the power he's sitting on. She instantly recognizes the value of every skill book and material. Jin-ah looks at him in surprise, wondering if he's serious about handing over such wealth. She knows her worth, but selling all this would mean she never has to hunt for materials again. Perhaps it is time to trade instead of fight. Realizing her potential, she wonders if she can truly handle this kind of scale. The only thing weighing on her mind is the cost, so she asks him, "What percentage will I get from the sales?" Jin-ah proposes a fair deal, offering him a 5% cut since they are family. But Jinwoo has much more ambitious plans, and he shocks her by offering a massive 20% commission. Frozen in shock at the incredible offer, Jin-ah can barely process the amount of money coming her way. The realization hits her like a freight train. With a commission this high, she is no longer just a collector, she is a professional merchant in the making. With her future secured, Jinwoo turns his focus away to focus on leveling up Pokrion. A massive stream of fire surges forward, met instantly by Jinwoo's defensive barrier. He knows a powerful damage dealer is essential for any top-tier player. Smirking, Jinwoo praises Pokrion's performance. He predicts she'll be clearing D-rank dungeons with ease soon. As they continue training, Jinwoo wonders if the others are making similar progress under Hengyu. While most pets must disperse after a few hours, the others are busy doing something quite strange. Back in the dungeon, Jinwoo turns to his companion. "By the way, Pokrion, is there anything you want?" A monster screams, lunging at them, but Pokrion effortlessly incinerates it with fire mana before asking him again what she might want. Jinwoo encourages her to speak her mind, much like Ramba or Hengyu would. However, Pokrion only looks down modestly. "I just need to be useful to you, Master Jinwoo," she whispers. Jinwoo reaches out to pat her head, urging her to— Jinwoo wonders if he should offer food, knowing that summoned pets don't technically need to eat, but he shares meals with those who have human-like tastes like Ramba. He watches Pokrion, wondering if the shy creature might secretly crave something sweet. It turns out she does, as she finally speaks up with a request for fried chicken and beer. Puzzled by the unusual choice, Jinwoo agrees, but he can't help but wonder what skills she'll unlock next. Pokrion reveals that her next step is the secret stage of the dragon art. Jinwoo asks her what a special day off would look like once she masters that power, and Pokrion is surprised by the offer. He promises a massive party with chicken and beer for everyone once she succeeds, giving her the ultimate motivation to work hard. Meanwhile, Jia stands atop a hill overlooking the construction of the new UBAC headquarters, her vision stretching across the landscape. She plans to build offices and apartments, but she also intends to include bunkers under every building. Thinking of Jinwoo's desire to protect his family, Jia decides that security must be a top priority in her new empire. He looks toward her. The shadow wolf has been located, though Jia's mysterious intent for the creature remains a secret. Meanwhile, at a restaurant, Jin Ah treats her friends to a lavish meal to celebrate her newfound success. Everyone is raving about the incredible items being sold at the item market. However, the conversation shifts to a rising star, a player named Baek Jinwoo, who is reportedly breaking all records. Jin Ah freezes at the name, realizing her brother's fame is starting to outshine her own business. The girls keep praising his amazing skills, even wondering if he's handsome or has a girlfriend. She can't help but wonder if they're talking about the same person, especially when a girl notices something shocking on her phone. The friend gasps, realizing that Yujia, the official from headquarters, is actually following Jin Ah's account. Jin Ah stares at the screen in disbelief. It's not just a fan follow. They're connected deeper than she thought. The realization that Yujia follows her simply because she's Jinwoo's sister leaves her friend stunned. Suddenly, a new notification breaks the tension, a message from Jinwoo asking if she's free tomorrow. Jin Ah screams with pure joy, leaving the cafe in chaos. Amidst the loud excitement, a puzzled waiter can only watch as she breaks the restaurant's peace.